For the next part of our interview series, we're going to talk about leadership positions such as an assistant nurse manager. Hi, my name's Lisa. I'm an experienced NICU nurse, a NICU nurse leader, and educator. I have been a part of interviews for new grad nurses, new to specialty, experienced nurses, people becoming supervisors, people becoming educators, a manager position. I've also personally applied for all of those positions. Okay, maybe not new to specialty, let's be honest. Let's talk about what this leadership position interview could look like. Number one question I think they're going to ask you is tell us about yourself and what brings you here today, this point in your career that you are looking for a change and looking to become a leader. Whether that's an assistant nurse manager or supervisor, whatever they call it on your unit, with this position, it is going to be a change, right? You're going to primarily be leaving the bedside depending on where you work. Why now? Why is this the position that you're interested in? The next thing I really want to talk about is if you are applying to be a leader, whichever those positions it is, on the unit you currently work on. Something to really be prepared for is asking, knowing that you've worked here, that you have a personal relationship, friendships with many of these people, how are you going to handle that? How will you give feedback to your friends? How will you give feedback to coworkers that you've seen maybe not do the best of jobs? Be prepared for that kind of interaction and what that could look like. How do you give and receive feedback? That is a huge part of a leadership position, no matter what position you're in, but especially as an assistant nurse manager or supervisor, you're often the first person that's going to provide feedback. So how do you give feedback? How do you do follow-up to that feedback? And how do you know when to escalate it beyond yourself to the next level is going to be a big part of your interview. And finally, the thing I think that you should be prepared for is the question of what do you think makes an excellent leader and how are you going to emulate that? I think it's really important for you to think about some leaders that you've had, whether it's on the unit you work on or a previous unit or a previous job, and really think about what have they brought to the table that made you think, this is who I want to be, and be able to speak to that. And remember, just like everything else we've gone into, know your why this position, why now, why this center. Be confident, be prepared, and come with questions. The 3 questions I would automatically ask if I was looking for a leadership position is, what does growth look like in this role? How are my successes managed? And how do you as a leadership team give feedback to your other leaders? What is the transparency within this team? I think those are 3 great questions for you to ask back to them. Make sure you are following me so you can follow along with more of these interview tips for nurses across the hospital spectrum.